New Zealand has announced a multi-billion-dollar overhaul of its defence force with the goal of increasing lethality in what the country says is an increasingly volatile world. New Zealand correspondent Jack Nyhoff reports.
New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon says New Zealand needs to step up as the world moves away from a rules-based order to a power-based system. The Defence Capability Plan includes increased cooperation with Australia when it comes to procurement of military assets and deployment. The Kiwi government says that it has bipartisan support from Australia.
In my previous conversations with the Leader of the Opposition in Australia, we've talked about the need for interoperability. These are things that are not political.
Our Kiwi neighbours currently spend around 1% of GDP on defence, which will be doubled to around 2% in the next 8 years.
This boom and bust cycle must stop. Defence is not something that can be mothballed until we need it.
11 billion Australian dollars of funding will be injected into the New Zealand Defence Force over 4 years. 8.3 billion Australian dollars is new funding. The move follows increased aggression from China in the region and the withdrawal of Pacific aid funding by the United States.
Distance certainly is no longer any protection for New Zealand. Not when we have an intercontinental ballistic missile launched in the South Pacific. Not when ships with enormous strike power come into our backyard.
The country's Anzac Navy frigates will be upgraded and new helicopters ordered. There is a focus on increasing missile strike capabilities and purchasing autonomous military assets like drones and uncrewed vessels. The two 757 planes, infamous for breaking down overseas and stranding prime ministers, will finally be replaced.
The lines on that graph mean nothing after the first 4 years because there's no actual money associated with them. It's just someone picking some numbers out of the year and saying, we think it should look like this. The truth is the next 4 years matter because that's what they've actually committed to. Beyond that, it's just fiction.
We're acknowledging we're coming from a long way behind in terms of our own capability that has been run down under successive governments.
The plan also involves linking systems into Australia's defence force to allow for increased equipment sharing and efficiency.